inside the quiet you carry, a small movement you pretend not to notice when the room goes still. It is the soft scrape of your own longing against the walls you built to feel safe. You feel it in the hour before daybreak, when the roads outside are empty and all the loud things sleep, and the old questions stand up in the half-light and stare back at you. Who am I becoming? Why does the familiar feel smaller than it used to? When did my reflection start looking like someone paused mid-sentence and never finished the thought? You have been brave in so many ways no one saw, holding together the shape of your days with teeth and thread, apologizing for the weight of your silence, smiling when it was easier to disappear. You learned to be reliable, and you were. You learned to keep the peace, and you did. You learned to carry more than you said out loud, and you still do. But there is a cost to the life that only survives. There is a price for the version of you who is always waiting for permission, always negotiating with fear, always making a home at the edges of your own life. It starts small, like a missed sunrise. Then it becomes a habit, like breathing shallow. A year passes, then another. Memory grows heavy with rooms that feel too familiar, with names you hold in your mouth like smooth stones, with old stories told so many times you start believing they are all you have. You measure your days by what you avoided rather than what you loved. You lie awake, promise yourself that tomorrow you will step out, and then watch tomorrow wrap its hands around your ankles and pull you gently back to the old chair, the old script, the old reply. I am fine. I am fine. I am fine. Sometimes the mirror is not made of glass. It is made of other people. The ones who remember a smaller version of you and keep you there because it makes their world less complicated. The ones who love you but fear what your unfolding would mean for the map they drew. And then there is the mirror fashioned from your own history. Mistakes like scars you press again and again, proof that you do not deserve the life that keeps calling. You tell yourself that wanting is dangerous. You tell yourself that comfort is safer than flight. You tell yourself that it is noble to stay, because at least no one gets hurt, but you get hurt. And the hurt is quiet, polite. The kind of ache that folds its hands and asks for nothing, yet drains color from your days until even the joyful things feel like photographs of joy rather than the living moment itself. There is a sentence that keeps rising through the static, a truth with the weight of tide and time. Your greatest risk is staying the same. We spend so much energy fearing the step that we forget the danger of standing still. We are taught to respect the cliff and ignore the slow erosion of the shore beneath our feet. We are taught to fear the thunder and forget how quiet can starve us. We are told that risk is external, that it lives in new cities and new love and new work, that it is a monster waiting outside the door. But risk also lives inside the rooms we never leave. It lives in untaken breaths, in songs not sung, in hands that never reach. It lives in the way we let our days repeat until we can recite ourselves in a language that does not fit. The harbor is safe, yes, but a boat that never leaves the harbor begins to rot, where the water cannot touch it clean. You have done what you had to do to survive. Honor that. There were nights when the only way out was through, and through meant another day doing exactly what you knew you could do. Honor that. You learned to make yourself small to pass through narrow places. You learned to carry the questions like lanterns in fog. You learned to fold your tenderness like a note in your pocket, close to your own skin, because not everyone earned the right to see it. Honor that. And then hear this. You have paid enough for entry. The ticket has already been punched. The life that kept you alive has done its job, and it wants what you want now. It wants a life that lets you be alive. The signs are everywhere. The way your chest rises when you hear a story of someone who remembered who they are. The way your hand tightens around the steering wheel when you pass the road that turns toward the unknown. The way your eyes soften when you think of a younger you who did not yet know how to pretend. You are not broken for wanting to become more. You are not selfish for considering your own soul. You are not lost just because the old map does not show where you are standing now. There are no roads there because your feet will make them. The world is not asking you to perform some grand magic. It is asking you to take one honest breath and remain. It is asking you to feel the weight of your body in the chair, to notice the pattern of light on the floor, to listen for the sound beneath the noise. Place a hand on your chest and do not move it. There, that steady drum. That is the oldest rhythm you know. It does not need your permission to continue. It needs your attention to expand. The muscle that keeps you alive does not ask for applause. It does not rush. It does not argue with the past. It simply meets this second with everything it has, and then meets the next, and then the next. You can do that. Yes, fear will arrive with a full suitcase and an excellent memory. It will present all the evidence. It will show you the bruise and call it a prophecy. It will point to the nearest chair and suggest you sit down. But fear is not your enemy. Fear is an old guard at a door you built when you were younger, taking its work seriously. Thank it for its service and walk by. Tell it that the oath has been fulfilled. Tell it you will not be dissolving today, you will be assembling. Tell it you are no longer a hallway. You are a room, a cathedral, a field that grows wild with promise. Somewhere inside you, a small, stubborn light is already awake. It is not loud. It does not boast. It just refuses to go out. It is the part of you that keeps standing up and walking toward the window each time the clouds break. It is the part of you that says the simplest, bravest sentences. I want, I am, I will. Let that part speak. Let it send a thin, clear note across the distance between who you were and who you are becoming. Listen, there, it is happening. A beginning so quiet you could mistake it for an ending. A shift so gentle it could be breath. The lock has always been on the inside, and your hand is already on the key. You do not need a lightning bolt. You need a door, slightly open. You need a reason that feels like your own name. You need a love for the part of you that survived, and a devotion to the part of you that is ready to live. Change does not always roar. Sometimes it takes your hand in the hallway and says, "Come with me," and you do, because you finally see what was waiting on the other side of your fear. Not a cliff, not a storm, a shoreline you have not walked, a sky you have not named, a life that has been quietly waiting for you to say yes. Say it now, even if your voice trembles. Say it now, and notice how the room grows larger. Notice how the air tastes different. Notice how the old chair does not fit. It is possible. It has always been possible. And the proof is that you are still here, listening to this, with your hand on the key. The morning does not arrive with trumpets. It arrives with breath, with a light that crawls up the edges of the world and finds your face where you left it. There is no sudden perfection, no drum roll that erases what came before. There is only the next true step. The rise does not demand a war cry. It asks for a posture, shoulders soft, spine long, eyes open. It is time to move in gentleness with the ferocity of someone who has outlived their own doubt. Courage is not always dramatic. Often it is the quiet refusal to abandon yourself. Often it is the way you make the bed and then keep the promise you made to a previous version of you, not because anyone is watching, but because you are. You will not build a new life in a day, but you will build one day in a new way. That is enough. Discipline is not punishment. It is devotion. It is the art of remembering what you said matters when you were calm, even when your nerves are loud. It is the practice of touching the present moment with both hands, not as a means to an end, but as the end itself. Drink water, stretch, breathe deeper than your worry would prefer. Write the sentence you are avoiding. Ask for help. Say no and let the echo be your teacher. Say yes when your whole body lights up, even if your voice is small. Craft your mornings like a musician tunes an instrument, one string at a time, one adjustment at a time. Do not chase a mood, create a rhythm. Fear will remain, but it does not get the wheel. Let it sit in the back seat while you drive. Tell to it what time you will arrive. Tell it there will be stops along the way and that it may sleep. You can choose this. You can choose to greet your thoughts like guests and only let the kind ones unpack. You can choose to act on the beliefs that expand you, not the ones that shrink you. Your greatest risk is staying the same. So, risk the act of becoming. Risk being seen. Risk telling the truth when it would be easier to turn down the volume on your soul. The unknown is not empty. It is full of you. You will fail. Good. That is how the clay learns your hands. That is how you discover which parts of the map are written in ink and which are penciled in. Begin again. Begin again tomorrow. Begin again after a tired afternoon and a conversation that took more from you than you planned to give. Beginning again is not a sign of weakness. It is evidence of love. It is the choice to keep turning your face toward the light even after the wind has rearranged your hair and your plans. That is courage, not the absence of pain, but the willingness to let meaning be heavier. Belief is a muscle. Train it. Feed it with proof. Keep a record of your own keeping. Notice the way you showed up when you wanted to hide. Notice the way you spoke softly and did not mistake it for weakness. Notice the way you closed the door on an old story and left it closed. Gratitude is not a denial of difficulty. It is a fuel. It says, even here, there is something worth holding. Even here, there is a reason to step forward. And when you cannot find a reason, let curiosity be your guide. What is on the other side of this breath? What is on the other side of this hour? What would happen if I stayed with myself 1 minute longer? You are growing new roots. You do not see a tree focus on the leaves first. It deepens where it cannot be praised. It drinks where no one can see. It invests downward before it reaches upward. Do the same. Put your attention into what keeps you steady. Rest as a strategy, not a reward. Move your body to remember that it belongs to you. Speak with a tone that you can live inside. Surround yourself with people whose eyes brighten when you enter the room, not because you perform, but because you are still learning how to be, and they are honored to witness it. Their presence will be the mirror you deserved all along. There will be days when your old life calls and sounds like home. It will offer the ease of knowing exactly where everything goes. It will offer you a chair and a familiar view. You are allowed to take a breath there. You are not required to stay. Each time you choose the path that respects your becoming, you widen it for the next time. Footprints build roads. Choices become character. Repetition becomes grace. The fire you were afraid of turns out to be a forge. You are being tempered, not consumed. Steel learns itself in heat and water, in pressure and patience. So do you. You are not ahead or behind. You are in the exact room where your next strength is born. One day, you will feel it in your bones, that shift. The way discipline stops feeling like a cage and starts feeling like wings. The way saying no gives birth to the yes that matters. The way your breath drops lower into your belly and stays there when the world speaks loudly. This is not an accident. This is not luck. This is the direct result of returning to yourself, like a pilgrim returns to an altar with dust on their shoes and devotion in their hands. Keep going, even slowly. Keep going, especially slowly, when slow is the truth. A life built slowly with integrity becomes a force that storms cannot steal. You are a body in motion now, guided by a steady compass, anchored by something older than doubt. The rises will be subtle, and the leaps will arrive like gifts. Trust both. Trust the humble and the holy. Trust the fact that you can carry your fear and your hope at the same time and still move forward. Trust that your steps are teaching the ground how to receive you. When you look up and realize the landscape has changed, it will not be because someone granted you permission. It will be because you did not wait for a thunderclap. You kept your promise. You rose. There comes a point when you stop introducing yourself to your own life and begin to inhabit it. You will know it by the way you walk into a room and it does not occur to you to shrink. You will know it by the ease in your jaw, the way your laugh returns to its natural register, the way your words arrive measured and true. The becoming is not a disappearance of all that came before. It is the integration, the quiet miracle where your scars become sentences in a language of strength. You do not erase the map, you draw a larger one. You do not discard the past, you carry it correctly. Like a tool, like a lantern, like a story you can tell without drowning in it. You are not here to impress the world with volume. You are here to change the temperature of the rooms you enter. Your presence is a climate. Let it be a climate of calm bravery. Let it be a weather system of patience, of listening, of enough. Do not mistake softness for surrender. A river carves a canyon not through rage, but persistence. Your quiet will do more than your noise ever did. Your willingness to be seen as you are will do more than your masks ever did. People will feel safe around you because you are safe around yourself, and that safety will ignite courage in them. Your becoming is not only yours, it is a shelter for others. You have learned to pick up the tools that matter: honesty, consistency, gentleness with yourself as a source of strength, not an excuse. The belief that you can forgive yourself without forgetting what it taught you. The understanding that time is not your enemy when you decide to be its ally. You do not rush fruit from a branch by shouting. You tend the soil. You let the sun do its quiet work. You water, even on the days when nothing seems to change. This is not passivity. This is mastery. This is the art of living in rhythm with what is true. You will meet old versions of yourself in unexpected places. In a song you used to play when the nights were long. In a smell that brings back a season that took more than it gave. Do not exile those versions. Thank them. They did not have what you have now. They did not know what you know, but they brought you here. Let them rest. Let them sit in the stands and watch you step onto the field. The whistle will blow, and you will feel your whole life leaning forward in your chest. Play, not because you need to prove you belong, but because you do. Not because perfection is calling, but because devotion is. Live like someone who understands the stakes. Your greatest risk is staying the same. You take that risk every time you silence yourself, every time you choose numbness over wonder, every time you let another day pass that does not contain even 1 minute that feels like flight. Refuse it. There is a way of standing that tells the world the old bargain has ended. There is a way of speaking that does not ask for consensus before it tells the truth. There is a way of loving that does not set itself on fire to keep others warm. You are learning these ways. You are learning that boundaries are the frame that keep your art on the wall. You are learning that peace is not the absence of noise, but the presence of alignment. The road becomes clear when you become clear. You no longer chase meaning like it is running away. You embody it. You make each small choice a vote for the life you have chosen. You become a keeper of vows to yourself. The world will continue to spin. People will continue to offer their opinions. Storms will continue to arrive and depart. You cannot stop the weather, but you can set your sails. You can choose the direction of your gaze. You can determine what you build with what you have been given. You can keep your heart soft without letting it be unguarded. You can measure your success, not by how much noise you make, but by how deeply your days feel like yours. You can walk through a market, through an office, through a kitchen at 6 p.m., through a field at dusk, with the certainty that you are not an accident of survival, you are an act of choice. And then, as if by grace, you will notice that your life has become a place where you can breathe, not because nothing is hard, because everything is held. You will notice the quiet heroism of your own discipline, the friend who stayed, the door you closed, the horizon you moved toward anyway. You will notice that joy has returned to your face like a season you thought would never find its way back. You will notice that your voice carries a new weight, the weight of someone who has walked through their own winter and knows how to speak warmth. This is the becoming, not something you perform, something you inhabit. The bright and the ordinary together, the work and the wonder. So step forward, step into the next conversation with a spine made of integrity. Step into the next room with eyes that do not flinch. Step into the mirror without rehearsing your apology. Step into the street with your name in your mouth like a promise. Step into your day understanding that legacy is not a statue someone builds for you. It is a posture you practice until it shapes the air you walk through. Let people be confused by how gentle you are with yourself. Let them be confused by how steady you are when the wind rises. Let them recognize in you a home for their own bravery. Do not wait for certainty. It will never come in the form you expect. Wait for honesty. Wait for the sound inside that says, "This is mine to do." Then do it. Not once, not twice. Again and again, until your life reveals what love can build when it refuses to capitulate to fear. If you ever forget, return to the simplest truths. Your breath is older than your doubt. Your heart knows how to keep steady in the dark. The ground will meet your feet if you bring them down with trust. Every day you are choosing who you will be, and every choice shapes the future like a sculptor's hand. Choose the risk that makes you more alive. Remember, you are not late. You are not behind. You are on time to your own life because you arrived. You are a beginning in motion. And there is a wide, generous world waiting for the clean light of your participation. Walk it, bless it with the steadiness you earned. Offer your courage like water. Offer your attention like bread. Offer your becoming like a lantern held high enough for others to see by. And when the hour comes that asks the most of you, you will meet it with the calm power of someone who decided long ago to stop negotiating with their own soul. Now breathe. Feel the whole arc in your chest. The pain that taught you, the rise that steadied you, the becoming that invites you forward, simple and vast, ordinary and holy. This is your life. This is your moment. This is the quiet turning that changes everything without needing to announce itself. Step where you feared to step. Speak where you once stayed silent. Love without erasing yourself. Keep the fire low and steady. Make of your days a refuge and a revolution. And as you move, let the last hesitation fall away like an old coat at the door. Walk forward, gently and unafraid, because the only risk you cannot afford is to remain who you were when you were born to become who you are.